The cost of living crisis risks undermining the fight against climate change, according to the World Economic Forum. Ahead of this year's summit in Davos, the organization says tackling short-term challenges like inflation could come at the expense of dealing with longer-term global threats.
The cost of living crisis is the biggest risk to the globe over the next 2 years. That's according to the latest survey by the World Economic Forum. Perhaps for many consumers, the report's findings come as no surprise. Prices for everything keep rising. Russia's invasion of agricultural powerhouse Ukraine caused food and energy costs to skyrocket. Supply constraints caused by the pandemic and subsequent lockdowns contributed to already high prices. These immediate problems are overshadowing the biggest long-term challenges, like climate change.
It's no surprise that generally we are all stuck in a crisis mindset. And that leads to short-term decision-making that may have long-term unintended damaging consequences.
The grim report comes 1 week ahead of the World Economic Forum's annual meeting Davos, where leaders and executives strategize tackling these issues. Following closely behind the cost of living are the threats of natural disasters, extreme weather events, and geoeconomic confrontation. It's a lot to discuss in 5 days from the comfort of a Swiss alpine village.
Well, for more on the cost of living, let's go now to Jens Korte at the New York Stock Exchange. Jens, U.S. inflation figures out today. We're seeing 6.5% year on year in December. It's still too high, but it's looking much better than before, is it not?
Definitely. I mean, Christy, the trend is your friend, and this yearly price increase of about 6.5% was the lowest increase since October 2021. And if you look on a month-to-month basis in December in comparison to November, prices actually declined by 0.1%. So that definitely is some welcome news. One of the main reasons why price pressure is easing a bit is the price of gasoline. That alone dropped about 9% in December, but also used car prices are down. And then on a not so bright side, food prices are still rising. And then especially also shelter is incredibly expensive here in the United States. So we've seen a new 40-year high at the end of last year. So not all is perfect, but at least the trend is right.
Okay, Jens, I'm hearing from you a mixed bag, some bad, some good. We were just talking about global economic risk. What risks remain for the U.S. economy specifically?
Well, I mean, what the Federal Reserve has done, Christy, to fight inflation is to aggressively increase interest rates, meaning that money became much more expensive. So that makes it more expensive for companies to invest. And we've already seen that in the past couple of days and weeks, that some technology companies, for example, but also some financial institutions, some banks are starting with layoffs, for instance. So we could see and probably will see a lagging effect from this pretty aggressive movement from the Federal Reserve. Also, consumers could spend less. Debt will become more expensive. So all those are possible scenarios that we might head into a recession here in the United States. Clearly, it's not guaranteed, but that the economy will cool down, there's hardly anybody who would disagree with that.
Jens Korte in New York, thank you so much.